by Umar radiallahu anhu was loud, and Abu Bakr was his voice lower, so he asked Umar to lower his voice, and Abu Bakr to raise his voice. So he used to recite, we said Salat al-Fajr, so Surah al-Tur, Surah Qaf, and things like this, and Surah al-Shams, and other surahs. And the Surah al-Fajr we have mentioned, he recited, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ, the first rak'ah, and قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ, Surah Al-Ikhlas, and second rak'ah. Salat al-Dhuhr, this way we have stopped. Salat al-Dhuhr. So Salat al-Dhuhr, we said, the Rasul sallallahu, we did not say anything, just now we're going to start. So Salat al-Dhuhr, he make the first two rak'ah longer than the second two, and the first rak'ah longer than the second. The first rak'ah longer than the second rak'ah, and which they said he recited about the amount of Surah Sajda, which is about 3 pages or less than that, about 30 ayahs average, and the second two rak'ah half the amount of the first two rak'ah. The second rak'ah half the amount of the first two rak'ah, and he recited the Fatiha and the second two rak'ah. Of course, the first two rak'ah he recited the Fatiha and 2 surahs, and the last 2 rak'ah, the third and fourth, he recited the Fatiha, and sometimes he recited the surah. Do we have to do that? Of course, none of them, but he did that. So sometimes to alternate and to recite surah, and the second and third and fourth rak'ah, this part of the sunnah. But this, we said, is mandatory. It is mandatory to recite the Fatiha as pillar of the salah for each rak'ah. Each rak'ah. The Salat al-Asr now, it was half the amount of the Salat of, when it comes to time-wise, so half the length of Salat al-Dhuhr. Half the length of Salat al-Dhuhr, but all of them, they have recited Surah al-Fatiha in each rak'ah. Salat al-Maghrib, he read, sometimes made it short. He read Surah Wat-Tini wa-Zaytun and others, and sometimes he recited Surah al-A'raf, imagine. And Surah Al-Araf, about 26 pages, if I'm not mistaken. He recited in Surah Al-Maghrib, Salat Al-Maghrib. Sunnah Al-Maghrib, like Sunnah Al-Fajr, he recited قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ, the first rak'ah, and the second rak'ah, he recited Surah Al-Ikhlas, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ, and Sunnah Al-Maghrib, which is 2 rak'ah after the Salah. Salat Al-Isha, he did also, heard, like he said, الشمس وضحاها إذا السماء انشقت والتين والزيتون. He did not make it too long. And the salah at night time, so that's which is important, especially nowadays. We said sometimes he said it out loud, and some other times he did it secretly, and sometimes he made it so long as the hadith of Mas'ud radiallahu anhu. He said, I prayed behind Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam salah at night time. He recited Surah Al-Baqarah, then An-Nisa, then Ali Imran. Right? And he made the ruku' as long, stand up, getting up from ruku', this as long, sujood as long, sitting between the two sajda as long as the recitation and so on. But he said, even I intended to do something bad. He said, what is it? He said, about to sit. This is the bad thing. This is the intention. He said, I intended to do something bad. And he said, I was planning and sitting. So he did that sometimes. And he did so long because he was praying by himself. Rasulullah did not make the salah long because we said, like we said, sometimes people are sick, babies are crying. And he said it was a mercy to man. Alayhi salatu wassalam. And like I said, sometimes he did salat at night time sitting. Crisscross. He sat and he made the ruku' lower and lower his head, and the sujood a little lower than that. And one of the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to at least he said not to read the Quran, not to neglect the Quran or be away from the reading the Quran for long. Maximum you should finish the Quran, or minimum you should finish the Quran every month or every 40 days in the different narration, and not less than 3 days to finish the Quran. So maximum every day 10 juz average. All right. Otherwise, it would be like I said, you do not focus according to the hadith of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One of the sunnah is recommended, especially nowadays. Okay. Whoever make qiyam in 100 ayah you'll be rewarded as among the qaniteen. Qaniteen who are obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And whoever made qiyam with 1,000 ayah, he will be rewarded as among the muqantareen, which is the reward in abundance. What's a qintara? That means something a lot and huge, subhanAllah. And Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, sometimes he made qiyam all night long, like the night of Badr. Did not stop from Isha all the way till Fajr. Of course, impossible for us. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam was given the strength and so on. But salat at night time, this is off this topic or book, starts from Maghrib. And the Muslim night starts at Maghrib time. So you can start the qiyam from Maghrib. But witr has to be after Isha. But the qiyam itself, you can start making qiyam from after Maghrib all the way till Fajr. All right? Salat al-Witr, as you see, we read in Salat al-Witr, the first rak'ah, Surah Al-A'la, سبح اسم ربك الأعلى, or سبح اسم ربك الأعلى. And then the second ayah, قل يا أيها الكافرون, Surah Al-Kafirun. And the third rak'ah, we recite قل هو الله أحد. And they say sometimes he added to the last rak'ah, قل أعوذ برب الفلق, and قل أعوذ برب الناس. Okay. Now, Salat al-Jum'ah, there's a few surahs are recommended. The famous two surah, al-A'la and al-Ghashiyah, and he recited sometimes al-Jumu'ah, and he recited with it Surah al-Munafiqun. Salat al-Eid is similar to Jum'ah, a little different. Al-A'la and al-Ghashiyah, he did that, and he did Qaf, wal-Quran Majid, and also Surah al-Qamar. اقترب الساعة وانشق القمر. And Salat al-Janazah, we went through Salat al-Janazah, which is the first, after the first takbirah. Of course, Salat al-Janazah in standing position. After the first takbirah, we recite Surah al-Fatiha. Then after the second takbirah, we recite Salawat al-Ibrahimiyya, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad, kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala Ibrahim, innaka hamidun majid. After then Allahumma barik ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala Ibrahim innaka hamidun majid. After the third takbirah, we make dua for the deceased. Allahumma fi zamil, said Allahumma ighfir lahu warhamhu wa'afihi wa'afu anhu. Allahumma akrim nuzulahu wassi' mudkhalahu waghsilhu bil ma'i wal thalji wal barad ونقه من الخطايا كما ينقى الثوب الأبيض من الدنس وأبدله دارا خيرا من داره وأهلا خيرا من أهله وزوجا خيرا من زوجه وأدخله الجنة وأعده من عذاب القبر وعذاب النار. This is the Salat al-Janazah. And he have said, and what is that? And he used to ask the Sahaba to beautify their voice in the Quran. He said, رتل القرآن ترتيلا, and try to stop by the end of each ayah. Don't connect the ayat, each ayah by itself. And as you know, Rasulullah mentioned the hadith. He said the hereafter, he said recite the way you used to recite in the dunya, your status and or your level or rank in the hereafter upon depend or stop by the last ayah you used to recite in the dunya. And one time, subhanAllah, he used to love the voice of Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. He said, he told Abu Musa, if you heard me, if you saw me yesterday, I was listening to your recitation. I enjoyed it so much. He said, you were given mizmar, min mazamir ali Dawood. So you were given a beautiful voice like the family of Dawood alayhi salam. He said, I was listening to you. Abu Musa, he was so excited. He said, if I knew there, I would even make it more beautiful than that. If I know if you heard my Quran. The other thing, when you are in Salah with Jama'ah, the Imam is leading, they say something, al-fath ala al-Imam, mean to correct the Imam if the Imam made mistake, right? One time Rasulullah he forgot an ayah. Then after Salam alayhi salam, he asked Ubay. Ubay was one of the most knowledgeable Sahaba when it comes to Quran. So he told Ubay, didn't you attend the Salah with us? He said, yes. He said, why didn't you taftah ali, reminding me with the ayah? SubhanAllah. So the thing is, here comes out, if because of this, you are allowed to correct the Imam when he makes mistake. If Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam forgot something, everyone else could forget or make mistake. Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam forgot an ayah to teach us. Of course, he's the best Hafid ever, but the thing is, he's a human being also. And for us to remember, to learn. But the thing is, you have to give chance to the Imam, not to just like read after him or with him. So the moment he cannot even read, right away you jump to him. Wait. Give him some chance, especially the ayat that people memorized. MashaAllah, you get like 25 guys in the masjid, they correcting the guy. Those things there. And it was sent to YouTube the other day. I saw this guy. This guy was, was reading Surah Al-Buruj. He made a mistake. So every single one of the masjid said, Shaykh, you made a mistake yesterday. This morning you made a mistake. Shaykh, the ayah, Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh, you made the mistake. You forgot this ayah. So we don't want to get to that level. Usually with the person behind Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, as he said in the hadith, لِيَلِنِي أُولُو الْأَرْحَامِ وَالنُّهَى. So the thing, أُولُو الْأَحْلَامِ وَالنُّهَى So the older people should be around the Imam. So don't fight if you're not a Hafid to become right behind the Imam. Be in the first row. Just stay around, so leave the room for that. I'm not saying to leave the first row, be in the first row. You're not supposed to go to the second row. But like if you're not Hafid or you're not going to know, leave that room for someone who could correct the Imam when he makes mistakes. We have inshallah a couple of minutes before the adhan. Said also, a lot of us comes to us, the shaitan comes to us during the salah. What should we do? So hadith Uthman al-As radiallahu anhu said, Ya Rasulullah, Shaitan did not make me focus on my salah. What should I do? I didn't know. He just I didn't know what rak'ah, what my reciting, where I'm at. He said, this shaitan's name, Khinzab. Khinzab. The shaitan's name, Khinzab. He said, if you feel this, say, A'udhu billahi min shaitan rajim, ta'awwadh billahi minhu, say, A'udhu billahi min shaitan rajim, then do like this. 2-3 times, and to your left side. He said, Uthman radiallahu anhu said, when I done that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took the shaitan away from me. What time is the then? 5:02? 5:02, okay. طيب. The ruku', there's no time because we have to do the ruku', we have to, do it different. Let's stop right here because the ruku' again takes some time to do the ruku'. Inshallah, tomorrow we can start a little earlier than that so we can finish or we can do it after Dhuhr, inshallah. Yeah, the ruku' basically it has to be, we have to take our time, we cannot rush the ruku'. Of course, like a pillar of the salah, and takes some time. Inshallah, we'll stop right here. Inshallah, subhanakallah bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Inshallah, after Asr, we continue on with the